A very good morning, champs. Hope you're doing good. Let's start class number 4 or part 4 of full stack web application development. And as I have said already, right, the prerequisite and the ingredients that are used for full stack web development are not as that of Java only, or not only Java or core Java or JSP. It's basically all the tools at your disposal. Whatever is required, you just go download it, right, or purchase it and start using it for your web applications, right? As you know that the application is not only HTML, it's a combination of JavaScript, HTML, JSP, servlets, CSS, right? And at times, yeah, majority of the data is handled by the database backend, right? So it's quite many things happening in developing Java or any web application, right, which is a software, not a website, because we are dealing with dynamic only. We're not interested in static applications, right? Static is a site, right? So dynamic is what we are trying to do. It takes use of many things. So now what we have done recently and what we have done so far is used many different things, including number one, AJAX, which is a jQuery asynchronous JavaScript and XML, and for that we had to use jQuery file we already used. And now what we are doing here, we are actually forwarding the request. We said we need to grab, instead of having to send them one by one. I told you that it would be better, right, if we send basically all at the same time, right? To send all at the same time, it may require us to send an object rather than sending one by one data using variables. So that's why we made this JavaScript object here, which has fname, lname, username, password, and everything that we're grabbing from the user. Let's quickly get started with the projects and see what is happening at the front end, right, and even at the back end that we are developing. Okay, and then once we have grabbed everything from input type text, which are here, once you have grabbed everything from input type text, what do? You call a post function. Hey, AJAX, I'm doing post here. That means HTTP post. I'm submitting the data back to web server, right, as a request. And the file which is going to handle the request is test.jsp. I repeat, the file which is going to handle the request is test.jsp, and the destination of the file is components, right? And then we are going to send user details, but I don't want to send it just like that. I want to send it, being stringified, right? So as I said that we should terminate, I often forget to terminate, and then at times it may not generate an error, right, because of caching, right? So, but you should always terminate in Java, all right? So it's unlike Python, which does not require you to terminate. All right. So now what we are doing, everything that we have grabbed so far, right, which is in user details right here, right, will go, the request will be submitted to components test.jsp, but I am using JSON.stringify, that I want to send it as JSON object, right, and I want to send it as JSON object, but the post data request submission, or we can say handling file, that is test.jsp, is going to receive it as udetails, right? And this is the function, success function you're calling when everything has happened, as per the plan, and everything is success. Success means if you're getting error, if you're getting response code 200, response code 200 means error, 401 means bad request, 500 is server error, 404 is file not found, or resource not found error. So 200 is okay. Now if this file gives 200, means it's found and it's okay, then call, right, then receive the response. So this is where we are sending request here, JSON stringified user details as this capital U details, sending it to this file, and in here we are retrieving data here. So it's not data, it can be any variable name, you can say D. All right, this is what the file test.jsp is sending as response. So this is a request going as udetails, and this is response from test.jsp being displayed back to div as HTML, right? And this is what we have achieved so far, right? And now because we are using JSON and we are retrieving, and you can see clearly here, anything that I write here, for example, right, PASS, now you can see it's sent back as JSON, right? So this is how JSON format may look like. It's quite like a dictionary format in Python, right? You can see this. Okay. Now what if I want to grab data in text.jsp, because I'm printing all, that's not what I intend doing, right? I want something this should be automatically mapped without me doing the push and pull of the data. It should be automatically mapped. So that's what I intend doing. And for that, because you are receiving it as JSON, you have to handle it as JSON. And for that, there's a package in Java, right? That is JSON. I'll go to libraries and I will say add a jar folder. You can see here, not a library, but a jar folder. And that is JSON 1.6. It is not readily available. You even to download, you'll have to do quite a bit of search, right? So I will be keeping the link for this so that you can download it down in the description section, right? So the downloadable link will be available in the description, right, down, and or even in the first comment section you can find the link for JSON download. So download this jar and add it as a library right here. Now you can see it's adding. Now then, the JSON file has been added. You can clearly see, right? Now we can handle it here. So now let me call and make an object of JSON here. So I can say GSO and JSON. Now you can see com.google.com. It's basically the package of Google. I'll say JSON is equivalent to new JSON. All right. So now I made an object of this JSON right here. Now what do you intend? What are your intentions? What do you want to do? I want to achieve right something, and what that something is, I want to achieve an automatic mapping with my object right here. I have created an object right here. I don't want that. I say this user right here, right, it is my model class, and I want everything to be automatically mapped to this class, right? And for that you have to do many different changes right here. You will say users is the class which is going to take JSON, JSO and dot from JSON, because you are receiving JSON and you want to convert it, right? I'll say JSON dot from JSON, and where do you get it from? It is coming from request dot get parameter. This, and the class you are targeting is users dot class and terminated. Now what this line is going to do is fill at present is throwing an exception, right? Just me see this. Yeah, it has to we have to pass the object here of users, right? So let me go here and create this object. So I'll say user is equal to new users, which is the model, right? And then I say user. Now I have to pass it to the object, okay? But it has certain conditions, because you want automatic mapping to happen. You don't have to do something like this, request.get parameter. Now usually what we do this user.set username request dot, and then we say request.get parameter. Is that what we do? And then we say request.get parameter and the parameter name, and then we do it for all. User.set username, user.set fname, then we do it for all. I don't want to do the push and pull of the data here. I want this JSON package to automatically map, right? And to do push and pull of data for ourselves. But it's not going to map, right? It's not going to map. For example, if I do this and I run it like this, what is coming back in return? Nothing at all, right? It's showing nothing in return, right? For example, even if I say out.println, even if I say out.println, I'll say user dot get let's say get first name, expecting it to have been matched already, right? Let's expect it to be matched already, but it is not, right? So you can see you're getting null. And in order to do mappings, right, I repeat and I repeat, in order to do mappings, the member variable names, which is fname, lname, username, password, and every single thing that you want to map at this moment in time, right, should match as that of the parameter names you are sending. But hey, wait a second, you're sending them as capital fname, capital lname. No. Now let me type exactly. For fname, it's small fname. I'll go ahead and type small fname, and for lname, it's small lname, and for username it is small username, and for password it is small password, and for confirm password it is small confirm password, right? So what have I done here? Some mistake. I'll take it here, alright, and I'll take my password here. So this is password and this is, now they match. Now once the data is submitted as the JSON, what you are doing, you're allowing automatic mapping here with the help of JSON package, right? And now the condition is that the member variables of the model should match the input parameters of JSON. You can see input parameters of JSON are matching the member variables in here. Let me save and show it again to you. Don't tell me I'm still getting null. Okay, f name has been mapped. Yeah, I have to refresh it because I have done new mapping. So yeah, so let me do it again. Fahim Khan, and let me change it because I don't know why, but still we have input type text for password and for retype password. So this is not right. Why would you put your privacy at risk? Okay, now let us type username, FEHIM, password, PSSWRD, PSSWRD. So now if I click submit, Fahim, now you can see how dramatic, without even doing the push and pull of the data, it's automatically mapped. This is the magic of JSON. For example, if I say .get lname, without even refreshing, let us not wait for refreshments, right? So Khan, so let me say get password, right? So you can see that it's been automatically mapped, right? So that is the magic here. Now we're getting password as well. So this is how we do JSON, right? And this is the magic of JSON. And plus the actual thing that we have to take care of, that because we have started full stack web application development, and that too professional web application development, and this piece of the code right here should not be here, and this piece of code should be somewhere else, and that somewhere else is, I'll just delete, I will just keep this script tag as it is, and I'll go to JS folder and I'll create a new JavaScript file, and I'll name it accounts.js. Now we have accounts.js. Copy and paste without script. It will not, just like CSS does not use CSS or style tags, because tag is to define. For example, why are we defining tags here? Because the file is HTML, right? We're telling the HTML5 that hey HTML, or hey browser, right? Since you're interpreting everything, do not interpret this section of the code as HTML. Interpret this section of the code as JavaScript, right? So this is what I do. Alright, so now then it's included right here, what I do, and that's why it does not require any tags in here. So it does not have any tags in here. Why would I require tags when the file extension says it's already JavaScript? And now what I'll do right here, now then it's done, right? Nothing is going to work now. You can see that you're going to get an error. Why? Because nothing is happening. So now what you can do here, JavaScript is always separate closing tag. So text script type is equal to text/JavaScript, and you can say the source of script is going to be go inside JavaScript and find account.js. So you're going to create reference to the JavaScript file, and here you go get going and get going, right? So you can see that now you are echoing or printing every single thing that you want to print, right? Then, so okay, is it understood now? And now then we still have to include some professional design for our Java code. All right, so this is how we develop full stack web applications. Okay, so let me do this for you. Fine, so let me carry on, because we have promised ourselves to develop a web application which is completely HTML5 web application. So I hope this part of the code is understood. Now I don't want this here, so I'm going to delete it. So let me delete everything here. So now it's as empty as it is, but yeah, the code has been saved. So we are preserving the code which is here, account.js, and since we intend creating a very good design, and for that we have to do many different things, and perhaps start styling it like a pro, Right, and our style should include a box style. So let me create a flexible model. Right, and flexible model design is very best considering HTML5. Right, and that too your HTML5 is going to be recapped while creating this design, and many different things are going to be solved as well. So let's get quickly started with HTML5 now. Right, okay, let's get quickly started with HTML5. Fine. So let me go ahead and create a CSS file which is already there, default.css, and we have done already. Yeah, wrapper is also being yeah, everything, but yeah, we have to do some R&D here because HTML5 style, and we have to create the wrapper style, so we'll have to take care of that also. Right, and one of the major things which is happening around is dogs have started barking again. Right, so they are not going to stop barking. Right, unless I close down the class. I don't know, the moment I start recording the class, I often get it, right? So they start barking, so then I'll have to wait. At times I have to wait for 10-15 minutes because these days, since no one is out, right, and they have all the space, they think that all the universe and everything and all the space available in the universe is theirs. Alright, so let them bark. Barking dogs seldom bite, so we'll do our work. Right, so let me quickly create an environment wherein we are going to assemble every single thing. Right, so for example, wrapper is already there. We know that wrapper starts in the header and the wrapper ends in the footer. And now you also have to do the same, because as promised, you're going to be in sync with me. Alright, and inside wrapper, I will say my header tag, and I call this as header ID top header. So still I'm going to take it in some different maybe portion of this will go in header and portion will go in the footer, but still let me design it at the same place. Okay, just for the sake of alignment, I'll say h1 welcome to we can say the welcome to the web site, any website, so that's not a problem. Right, grammatical mistakes is also checked. And for menu bar, we are not going to use div, we are going to use nav. This is an updation to HTML5 that we use nav instead of any other div. So now we have navigation. Now navigation has a parent, which is again you can go inside header and see the parent is wrapper. So wrapper will remain the super parent of all the sections and divs that we may have. Alright, and nav is going to have that parent and header is going to have that parent as well. And let me have inside this ul, which is an unordered list, and an li, which is a list item. Right, and let me create 4-5 links here. Right, so let me create home. Right, and let me create profile. Let me create about. Right, let me create links. Right, students. Right, test or examinations. So these are the links that we are going to create. Right, so now the navigation is done. Pure HTML5, nothing as that of a Hicks HTML. So let's create section. Right, it's a modern style of creating web application, and we'll be creating the flexible design, flexible models. Right, so I'll say main, or we'll say content, or we can say main, or we can say main content. Alright, so let me call this as main content. Alright, so now inside content we can have as many articles as we want. So we want to display some news here. Alright, and article can, you know that it's an article tag itself can have header and footer. So I'm not going to put focus on HTML5 here, since presuming you already know HTML5, I go ahead, because it's not my job. My job is to teach you that, what do you call that, as JSP and Servlets and anything dynamic. So now we can have, if there are more headers, I can create, for example, I'm going to give you the overview. Doesn't mean that doesn't mean that I'm not going to show you everything. So I'll show you something, right, which is explainable, or which is up to my extent possible to explain. So I'll say here title of my article in here, right, and this is h1, and I'll be creating h2, right, and this is going to be subtitle of my article in here. The moment you're having more than one headers, it's always better to use HGROUP. So for more than one article, you always use H group. H group means header group. So that means now it is not, this header is not going to have a single header, but it's going to have a group of headers. Now, right, and if there's a header of an article, so there's also a footer, FOOT. There's also a footer for an article, right, and right, and there is also a body. So for example, this is going to be a body paragraph tag. So this is where my content will go, or this is where my article content will go completely. So I don't know, will go, that's fine, right? So now footer, I can have another paragraph inside footer, right? So I'll say this article, or we can say, let's say, written by Fahim Khan. So this article is written by none but me, right? So that's what I try and explain here. Okay, and we can have as many articles as we want. So let me copy this article tag. You can see this is article here. Right, if I expand this article and let me copy this article, now we have a section. You can see this section, and this section has two articles, right? I'm not going to give ID, it's not XHTML, and it's not preferable to give ID and class to every single thing, right? We can recognize them, and we have to, call things once and see that if they are programmed and designed. Okay, now they start barking again. Right, so now once you style them once, you have to make sure that the style is not only applied to the parent but to the subchildren as well, because we are going to create a flexible model design here, and box layout, that too. Okay, just give me a moment. Alright then, they are shut up now. Okay, right, so it means that once I style this article, right, the same styling will be applied to this article as well, and you'll see that practically these will be applying pure CSS, pure CSS3 here, right? Not CSS2, we'll be applying CSS3 here, right? Alright, and do not expect too much of explanation, right? And now then the section div ends here, and purely I am at the mercy of footer now. Right, FOOTER. Now I'll explain the footer, and I suppose that footer already has a footer. No, it does not have. Now let me go inside, let me design it here and then take one by one all. Okay, so let me go for footer right here, and this is my footer, and inside footer let me keep copyright and copy, right, that is the sign C, 2020 at my website my website dot, okay, let me give this an address. So I'll say mywebsite.com, all rights reserved, right? So this is all what we require, and we are done, right? I'll give it a box layout, and then I'll give it, now you can see this is how the website may look like when you start doing it, right? But yeah, first things first, you have to understand that we have to apply global styling here. So for global styling, the first thing that I'm doing, font family is Arial, and now what I do here, everything, like we have UL, we have LI, we have articles, we have navigation divs, and everything has some margin, right? By default they have some margin, like 10 px of margin, and 5 px of padding, maybe to maybe to ULLIs, So I'm going to say that, hey, I don't require your margins and your paddings. I'll do it myself. So I'll say star means every single thing, right? We'll have the margin 0 and padding 0. The moment I do this, you'll have to see the magic now. You'll see how much padding. Okay, you cannot see anything at all. Margin 0 and padding 0. It's because of that caching problem. Now you can see that margin is removed, padding is removed, right? So it's globally applied. And the second thing here, you can see there's no difference between H1 and H2, right? You can hardly feel any difference between H1 and H2. So that's what I'm going to do globally here. I'll say H1 and for the global styling, and I'll say H2. Right, so my H1 tag is going to have font, right? Because you're already supplied Arial, you can have supply, or you can have 3 arguments here. For example, you want bold font and you want 20 pixels and you want Arial, so you can apply all 3 at the same time. Now you can see once you apply all 3 at the same time, it's applied to H1 tag right here. But I don't want Arial is already given, right? So I can say like this, font dash size is 20 pixels and font dash weight is bold, right? So let me do it to H2 as well, because I'm using H1 and H2. Do I use H1 and H2? No, I'm not using. My mistake, perhaps. H group is using, yeah, I am, but why do I use H1 inside H2? That's my biggest mistake, right? That's why. All right, so now, yeah, I'm using H1 inside H2. My mistake. You don't have to do this, right? So now if I refresh it, it's still, you can press the Alt button and Control or maybe Shift. At times they look similar. Yeah, they will look similar. Why not? Because we have done 20 pixels to both. So let me say 14 pixels to H2 and 20 pixels to H1. Right, so now it's H2, it is H1, and this is H2. Both are inside H group. Now if I take them away, you'll say, why do we even require them? Yeah, you can see this, that there's no difference between H1 and H2, right? So it happens when the header tags are inside sections. It always happens, right? So you have to manually do that, right? Okay, now so this is also done. Okay, and now because I am going for, I don't need ULLI to mention. Now please delete it. You have to be in sync with me. Delete UL and LI padding manually. We don't require it. And button, yeah, I require cursor pointer. And this wrapper, I'll redo it. But yeah, now the things that I have used is header. I have used it. Section, I have used it. Navigation, I have used it. Footer, I have used it. Aside, I have used it. Article, have used it. And H group, I have. And I've used all of them. And what I want them, I don't want them to be displayed in like, I want them to be just like box, right? So that's why I'll say display block. So I'll use display block property. Right, so it's not going to do it. You'll say, okay, no, nothing is happening right here, right? So it's not going to do that. Okay, display block is done. Header, section, nav, footer, every single thing. Article and aside. Did I forget aside? Yeah, no, aside is already there. And section is there. Maybe if I forget anything, so I'll add that later on. Right now, this thing is done. Right, and now what I do here is body. Okay, let me go ahead and see this. What else has to be done? Okay, we have top header now. What is this? Something that I don't know. All right, now everything is done. Yeah, one thing is there, that UL, hey UL, I don't want your list style, so I'll say list style none. So I don't want any UL to have list style. You can see globally I've removed this, right? So this is also done. All right, and then go to wrapper, and what I want to say, I will say minimum width, not in percentage. So I'll say minimum, or I can say maximum. All right, so you can use both. So I can say maximum width, or I can say both the minimum and the maximum width. So this way you can let your flexible design do the job for you, right? Right, and right, so you can do that. I'll say minimum, or we can say let me say, okay, let me call this as width, so I'll try it later on. So let me give it width, not in percentage, because we are going for a box layout. So let me call this as 1200 pixels. All right, minimum height is not required, so I'll not go with height here because I'm going with HTML5 box layout. And I will say margin 20 pixels from the top, and remaining is right left. So you can say the margin, the moment you say 20 pixels from the top, you can automatically see that the height is now automatically taken, and we have 20 pixels from the top. Maybe I have given some padding to body. Yeah, padding top is there, so I'll remove this. Padding bottom is there, I'll remove this. All right, and I'll say my body, hey body, that could you please text align center for me, right? Why do I do this? Well, for cross-browser compatibilities, right? The moment I show text line center, now you can see the text is coming in the center. So this is going to align everything. Maybe there are many browsers, the browsers available who do not understand, margin auto. So for them, we are going to text align center, right? And the moment you set text align center, now if I go back and check what is happening right here, yeah, now you are telling margin, hey wrapper, please give margin top 20 and from right left auto. If I don't give auto from the remaining sides, it is going to not be in the center. It's not aligned in the center, right? So you'll have to say margin auto. So auto means 20 is from the top, and right left, top and bottom is going to be automatically adjusted as per the size. Still, it's not the flexible model that I was talking about, but yeah, once I make the box layout, then I'll convert it to the flexible box layout, right? So that is going to happen now. All right, then so let me say top underscore, or what was the header name? Nothing. No, top header. I was right. Yeah, my set of memory is very good. Okay, I'll say hash top header, and I will program another main content is yet to be programmed, and I have this hash top menu which is yet to be styled, and I have this let me style them first though. So top menu is going to have, let's say, background color, which is going to be, let me use a color chooser, and let me use HSV right here. Take a bit of this, maybe blue. Yeah, blue, right? And top menu is going to have color, it's about white. Let's see how it looks. I don't know. Where is top menu? Still not coming. Yeah. Welcome to my website. Is it required? Welcome to my website. Yeah, it may be required. Who knows? Okay. Top header. So I done it to top header. Sorry. I have to go to top menu here and do it to top menu. Yeah, it's menu now. And let me go to top header. I will say background is going to be white, and border dash bottom 1 pixel solid. I'll use darker gray, hash CCC, and you can choose as per your own likings. Now you can see there's a bit of border being chosen here, and I'll say height is equal to 100 pixels. So I'll choose, yeah, 100 pixels is height. Now we have this welcome to website here, which is not going to be there. I'm just showing you the box layout and the designing that we do in box layout. Otherwise, it's not meant to be there, right? And now I go to the main menu, right? So, and I'll say margin top 10 pixels so that it doesn't get overlapped with the header. Now header is different and this menu is different. So let me directly go menu. Top menu is the parent, and we have inside top menu li, and I say display inline block because they are not displayed inline. You can see they're not displayed inline. Now I'll tell them to display inline, and you can say they're inline, right? And the first things first, I'll go to main content. So I'll say, hey main content, you mind? Now see this right here. You mind if you float towards left? Now what we have done, body asked body to float everything towards right. I know it's going out. You'll come to know that everything is settled once we are finished, right? Now everything is floating towards, everything that is inside main section, or we can say main content, will flow towards left, right? And only the header is going to be maybe in the center, who knows. So let's see what happens, right? So top menu is li. I repeat, body will align everything to center for cross-browser compatibilities, right? And then we are going to use WebKits after that, okay? And then this inside we are using this div section, or we can say section. This is the section right here. Section ID is equal to main content, and everything in this section will flow towards left, right? So everything will be fine, don't worry. And I'll say width is going to be 600. Let me tell you, if I give it, for example, if I give it margin of 30 pixels, right? Which main section, right? Alright, so now this main section has margin of 30 pixels, and it is no, I am doing it again wrong. I have to go to main content. Floating towards main content is floating towards left, and the total width is 600. So total width has to be, we have 1200, and 1200, if I give margin 30 pixels, for example, 30 pixels from right and 30 pixels from left, is total 60 pixels. And what is the height? Height is going to be let's say the width is 1200 pixels total available width, right? So 1200 pixels minus 60, okay, which is going to be 1140, right? Because 1200 minus 60, 30 from left and 30 from right, 1140, and let me give it 800 pixels, right? Alright, so 800 pixels is the margin is 30 pixels and width is 800. So I'll say width 800. Now we'll have to take a look at the width available for us. Now the moment I do this, you can see the remaining things have started floating towards right, because okay. And here what I can do is fine, so it's absolutely right. It's floating toward this main content. If I give it background, so if I give it background red, you can clearly see, just for alignments, I don't intend doing this, you can clearly see that it is floating towards left, right? And now the only space, because it has 30 pixels margin from here, 30 pixels from here, and now the available space is right here, right? So that's what I was trying to explain you. Now the total available area, that is 80 plus 30, 860. So I can say 1200. All right, so for example, if I intend doing this, I can go to calculator. I'll say 1200 minus 860. Now 340 is the total available area here now, right? You can clearly see 340 is the total available area. All right, so meanwhile, let's carry on. So display inline, so list style is already none. So let me give this padding of 10 pixels. Right, and the rest we'll do later on. So now this is here, and I can even ask it to float towards left. You mind if you float towards left? Yeah, it has gone. So let's keep it just like this. We'll do it later on. The moment we get more time, right? We'll do it later on. Don't worry. Alright, so now this body here, body has text line center. Yeah, everything is fine now. Okay, so now main section has been styled as well, and we have now the side new. So as I say side, what is the name of that? aside. We just created an aside. We did not create any aside right here. Did we create any aside? Copyright. No, let's create an aside here. Maybe we have forgotten to create that aside. This is just for the side news, right? Maybe you have some notifications, some newses for the website, and then different things. So I'll say side news. So let's say side news, and inside this I can have h4, all right, news, and I can say the paragraph here. We have some news for you. So now that's it. Okay, now you can see the aside is here. We have, so aside is outside the footer. Yeah, absolutely fine. Let's style it down now quickly. All right, so it is called as side news. So I'll go and say side news float. Hey, you mind if you float towards left, right? Because it has now very specific area available right here. Right, and because it has the width of 320 pixels available, I suppose. All right, because we done the mathematics. No, maybe not 320, maybe 310, who knows. Okay, maybe it has 130. Still not coming, so we'll have to see. Let's keep it 310 pixels, float to left, and the moment I say, now see the magic, the moment I say please give yourself margin of 20 pixels, right, from the top, and do not give any margin, from bottom, right and left, only top margin. All right, so now it is done. I'll have to delete this red color because it's causing disturbances. Right, main content, now you can clearly see it here, right? So you can see this is here, news, some news for you, and okay, fine. So now this is it. So side news is doing fine, right, and width is 310 pixels. Let me give it padding of 10 pixels. Right, so the moment I give padding of 10 pixels, so this is side news for you. All right, and side news is floating towards left. All right, and it has a margin of 20 pixels from top and nothing else. So let me give padding of 30 pixels to be more precise. Right, and it has, let's say, background hash CCC, or let me give it F5 for box layout. Yeah, now you can see this is side news for you. All right, and it looks much better this way. Right, but yeah, still we have some problem here, the content. So let me take whether we have closed all the texts. Yeah, everything is fine. So this is main content. Okay, all right, and then everything is fine. So let me go ahead and check top menu li display inline block is fine. This is fine, but why isn't it floating towards left? The main content is floating towards left, and the width is 800 and we have the margin as 30. That is absolutely fine. Did we okay, we did not. Oh, okay. It's absolutely fine, but we still have some problem right here, right, with the wrapper. Why? Because the wrapper is not doing text align left. So let me call this here text align left, right? So this is going to do the job. Yeah, now everything is fine. So now why are we doing body text line center? Just for cross-browser compatibilities, that the content or the container or the box sections, divs are aligned towards basically center, and then once we enter the wrapper, right, that wrapper has every single thing, including the text and every single thing, that's aligned to. Okay, and it has border, it has margin of 20 pixels, and the remaining is auto. Text align is left and the background color is white. So now everything is fine, and then everything is displayed as block, which is header, section, navigation, footer, aside, and we still have article and H group. Everything is fine. A is also there, H1, H2 is also there, and body is also there, font size and margin is also done. Now we have this problem of side news. If I say 330 pixels, so we'll have to see what is the remaining area. The remaining area is, for example, total 1200 plus 60, 860 is the total available area. So I can go to calculator and say that the total available area that I am having is 1200 pixels, and I can deduct 1200 pixels minus 860, and the remaining is 340. So that means we have to give the sidebar 340. So why am I giving 330? So no, we have to give 340 pixels. So it should go towards left, and it is floating towards left, so it is not coming right. So floating left, 340 pixels is there, 20 pixels from top, and padding of 30 pixels. Background is also given. Maybe the footer is causing problems, so let me give it to footer. So I'll say hash footer, clear the formatting, because there's already a lot of formatting happening. So I'll clear the formatting, whatever is available with footer. So I'll say clear both to footer, and I can say text align to center. After text aligning to center, I'll give footer padding of, let's say, about 20 pixels. Alright, so now this should do the job. Maybe it is caching. The caching is creating some problem for us. Let me delete some history. I mean, I have no option because styling is causing some problems in here, and I don't have any option but to clear the cache history. Alright, so now it's done. I'll go back and see that it's applied. No, because I say hash footer. Footer is not an ID, footer is called directly. Now you can see that, yeah, and there are many different things that have happened right now. Okay, now you can see the article is there, and this, except from this news floating towards left. So that is the only problem we are having regarding this side news, right? And nothing else, because this side news should float towards right, but if I say float right, it's not going to serve the purpose, right? Even if I say float right, it's not going to go there because it's displayed as box. Alright, so we'll have to check what went wrong here. Is everything being displayed as block? Yeah, display block is everything. Body, does body have text line center? Text line center. Wrapper has a 12 pixels width, and wrapper has a border, and every single thing is fine. And then what is the problem? Top header is also there. Top header is also there. Main section is main content floating towards left. If I go, is it main content? Yeah, so let me delete article here to see what wrong are we doing. So we have only one section, which is main content. Alright, so now we can see, yeah, everything is fine. Okay, now why are we creating this footer? Okay, this, oh, we are done wrong. Where is aside? I thought this is footer. No, my God. Right, so we have aligned it in the footer of article. Right, you can see it's article. Actual footer is right here. So I have to take it. I have to take this aside outside the section. I thought it's just underneath the footer. I designed it here. Yeah, now everything is right. Now you can clearly see everything is fine. Right, now you can see this aside is clearly just underneath. This aside is just near footer, so I don't have to do any float left and float right. Alright, so now let me see if everything is working fine or not. Alignment problems is, yeah, absolutely fine. Now let me go ahead and give 320 pixels of width. Alright, so let me give it 310 pixels of width. The width is going down, but still not going to that side. still saying float left. So if I take it away, yeah, now you can see it's automatically gone to this side, right? You can clearly see, right? So that's why the mistake was there, right? And okay, so let me go ahead and say background of the side news is hash ccc. That's absolutely fine, right? And this is my side news, and I will say width is going to be 300 pixels, which is what I think is available. Yeah, this is 300 pixels, and what I do, I'll say float left, right, because there is space. Yeah, now you can see it's floating towards left. I don't know what was wrong with this. And I say margin, give some margin towards top, which is 30 pixels from the top. That's it. I don't want anything else now. Maybe I want to give a little bit of padding of 10 pixels, and that's it what I want. Okay, so it's gone. After padding, it's going to take more, so I'll say 280 pixels. Okay, now margin 30 pixels is doing some problem here. Okay, so let me give padding 30 pixels here. Okay, or let me give padding of 30 pixels, margin 20 pixels from top and 0 pixels from right and left hand side, so that it doesn't skip. Yeah, now you can see it's coming towards the side. And let me have 300 pixels maybe. Now 300 is going to be too much because we are giving padding. 290 pixels is going to be sufficient, I suppose. Okay, 280, fine. So it was already there, 280. Yeah, for that I may have to reduce some width of the content maybe. So it's 800. So let me keep it 780 because it has only few pixels of width available. So now we can make it 300 pixels easily. Right, and now it's coming just here. I can say margin right 10 pixels. Hey baby, can you please come 10 pixels? So 10 pixels is going to be too much, so I'll say 290 pixels. I'll have to decrease the width. Yeah, now it's not overriding, or it's not overlapping the main wrapper border. So that's what it's basically. So let me increase the width again of wrapper to 1290 pixels so that everything fits in nicely. Yeah, 1290. Is it too much? Yeah, it's too much. So let me say 1210 pixels. Okay, 1210 is like this. Okay, 1270 pixels. Fine, so let me say 1240 pixels. Final. Yeah, now everything is fine. Now this is my news because we had to do it correctly, because we have, for example, we have 1200. We have to see how much is this section taking. The complete section has 2 articles, and then the remaining will be given to this. This is float right is not a good option in HTML5, so that's what we were trying to do. And last but not the least, we have our article due. So I'll say article. Now you can see the magic. I don't have to call article by ID. I'll say any article that is in here will have the background. Will have the background color chooser. So I'm going to choose color, and let me have it something pretty light, and I'll say border 1 pixels solid, and I will again choose color chooser right here. There's a funda of color. The color should always be darker than what your background is. Now let me see this. Now you can see both articles are coming. You mind if I give them padding of 20 pixels? Padding is inside and margin is outside, you know that, huh? Okay, now this is also given. Can you mind if I give margin bottom of 15 pixels so that they don't collapse and overlap? Now you can see that they are not overlapping with each other. Now this is coming in the center. You mind, article has 2 things. Article has a header and article has a footer, right? So I can say text align right, and I'm going to article footer. Inside article we have a footer, and this footer is text aligning towards right. Okay, now let me refresh. What happened? Okay, how many O's? Now you can see article written. Now everything is fine. Everything looks fine here, except from the fact that I may have to choose a more darker border. Right, now you can see it looks nice, and my article, which is the sidebar, will have in background of hash F5 F5 F5, and I'll give border. I'll give it border 1 pixel hash CCC solid to look it more brighter. Now you can see it's looking much better right here, right? So now this is the box layout ready. So tomorrow we'll be trying to make it more flexible, and we'll try and changing the colors as well, right? So our box layout is ready. It's not flexible. You can see that it's no longer flexible, and then we'll try and divide everything between header and footer. And what went wrong today that took too much of time was only one thing, that what I had done wrong was this aside, because this aside is meant to be, you know, nowhere but directly in the wrapper. So aside should have wrapper as parent, and right, what I was doing, I had kept this in the footer here, in the footer of article, right, after the footer of article. I thought, okay, footer is ending here, let me put aside here, but I never knew I'm doing it inside article, right? It had to be outside the section, because this section is completely here, and this is a new section that we are developing from here. This is the only thing that went wrong, and yeah, you'll have to take care of what are you assigning from here and how much you are assigning from here. So this is the same project that we'll be using in developing. Maybe we'll start developing an online examination portal. That's much better. We will require that. Our old portal has some bugs, so we'll be developing a new exam portal with this trainings, and we'll be working in live projects, inshallah. And do complete this, right? Be in sync with me. And yeah, it's been too hectic today. All right, so yeah, it happens at times with design. It gets too, you know, we can say lengthy, or it gets too much, right? I wish you all the best and see you tomorrow. Be in sync with me and do complete this, and wish you all the best. Yeah, I'll keep that JSON package ready for you to download down in the description section. Do download it. Bye-bye.